Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Simple Pin podcast. If you have not picked up on it by now, we have been spending the last couple of episodes talking about conversions. And the biggest reason we've been talking about this is because I believe that marketing is just one part of the process, right? And so many people put emphasis on, I'm going to do Pinterest marketing for XYZ amount of time. I'm going to make this much money. In fact, my guest in this episode today talks about her work with previous Pinterest clients wanting an ROI on her services. But when she pressed a little bit harder, what she realized was that these clients didn't have any conversion funnels set up. There was no way that this client could actually make money. And so she began to get super investigative about building funnels, building in ways that you could convert people to pay you for your products. And the business that she has today is now fully running. She's no longer doing Pinterest marketing, but now she's full on deep into conversions. And that is Dama Jue. I am so excited to have her here today. We have seen each other in circles over the years. We have both obviously done Pinterest marketing, but I really wanted her to share her story about how she got into this work and also why she's so passionate about conversions. We also want to touch on this whole idea of warm versus cold, because a phrase that I use on this podcast, if you haven't heard it by now, it is that Pinterest users don't really care about you. They care about themselves. They are interested in finding a solution to their problem, whether paid or non-paid. And you have the solution. And so how can you help them become a part of your community, purchase your products, or just simply follow along on your journey, your story, to where they can eventually purchase something from you and you can make money? If you are at all interested in helping us manage your Pinterest account while you focus on those conversion metrics, especially after you listen to this episode, I know I walked away with like 15 different ideas, then we would love to support you. Our team is ready to help you figure out what service fits your budget, fits your time frame, and fits your marketing needs. Simply scroll down below. You will see simplepinmedia.com/services. You can book a call with us. And if you're going to book a call, please join us on that call, and we will help you figure out what is your next best step when it comes to Pinterest marketing. With that, let's dive into my interview with Dama. Dama, welcome to the Simple Pin podcast.
Yay, thank you for having me.
You bet. I am so excited to chat with you, and as evidence of our long lead up to hitting record. But I want to start with your About page, because I love that it says what dreams are made of. And it's the first place I actually went when I was trying to prepare for this episode. And it's so beautiful. And I actually think what's interesting is I have started to think about our About page recently. I've heard stats over the years. People say the number one place people go is your About page if they don't know who you are or what you do. So I want to start there. When you began to build your About page, what did you have in mind as you were building it?
Okay, so I'm of two minds. It's so funny that you said that's the first place you go. I never click About pages. My grandmother used to have this saying, like, and it's probably all grandmothers, like, tell me who you spend time with and I'll tell you who you are. Tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. I'm like, tell me your offers and I'll tell you who you are. And if you're something I want to refer to, if I want to buy, I want to have a resource, if I want to collaborate with, talk offers to me. So when I go to someone's website, the first thing I look at is like, what do you want to sell me? What do you have to sell? And that's the same thing I do when I get on someone's email list. When there are no links to click, I'm just like, what fresh boredom is this? Like, they're not even telling me what to do. So I'm a weirdo because I'm a funnel strategist. I look at sales. I want to see sales pages. Like, really, I want to see sales pages. But
and do you think that you do that both? Like, sometimes we have our business lens, sometimes we have our consumer lens. You just do that all the time, whether or not you're buying like face cream or whether you're buying a course?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
All the time. I want to know. I think because I'm such a marketing junkie, I would like to know. And so as a person, so by the way, like, let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
I do affiliate marketing and I create and I do a lot of collaborations. So I'm always looking whenever someone has said something on Threads or done something or posted something that's got my interest and I'm creeping their site. I don't go to their About page. I want to know what your offers are. I want to know, are you someone who like I need to learn from? Are you someone that I could potentially refer to? Like you're teaching a thing that I don't care to teach, but I would love to refer to? Or are you someone who I just think you're interesting and maybe we should collaborate? Or maybe I should find a way, like I'm interested in you and I haven't sent the first DM, right? So let me go creep really quick so I don't walk into the room being oblivious to what you do. And so I think there's a lot you can tell about people's offers, about what they like about their business based on their offers. And it's just interesting to me. So I always want to know first from the everything lens. Maybe I'll be a customer, maybe I'll be a referral partner, maybe you're just like fodder for my new biz bestie or something.
Interesting. Okay, I'm already getting the wheels turning. So you touched on this a little bit, but let's kind of go back in your story a little bit. You have history with Pinterest. You did Pinterest marketing for a little bit. You're an accounting major. You definitely have this like love of tech and this love of funnels, this love of how things function. So for this podcast specifically, I love that you have history with Pinterest and I love that you have a love of conversions. So kind of walk us through a little bit of that. So you did Pinterest, you did accounting, you did Pinterest, and now you're into conversions.
Yeah.
How did one flow into the other?
Yeah. So I went to school. When I was in school, I was the first kid in my family, in all of my extended family, all the cousins, all the everybody. So family of immigrants, and I was the first one to go to college. My older brother and my older sister didn't want to. And I was the nerd. I was the bookworm. I was the one who really fought to go to college. And so when I went, then I felt this internal pressure of like, I better choose a major that is like good money or like proves that it was a good decision that I went to school. So I happened to be graduating in 2008 during an economic recession, sucky time to graduate, and I chose accounting and finance. My major was international business and finance because one wasn't enough, I guess. And so I chose that because I wanted something secure. And I also knew that the things that maybe made me the annoying younger sister, the bossiness, the organization, the planning, the things that maybe perhaps were annoying were strategic assets. Like I just knew like I was meant to be in business. I had a feeling about that. When I wanted management and I chose accounting for financial stability. So I worked as an accountant for 10 years from like the lowest level and then up to a fund accountant right before I left. Bored out of my mind. Sorry, RIP if any of my old bosses are hearing me. I hated it. I found accounting very boring because all I did was make sure the data was there. I didn't get to do the analysis. My whole life dream was like, can I at least become a financial analyst? Because I want to make data-driven decisions. And I had this like desire for it. And it was never going to be like, it just was maybe 10 more years down the line, maybe financial analyst. So my husband and I were not feeling fulfilled in our careers. Our friends were having babies and buying houses, and neither of those things were appealing to us. We both had lived abroad before individually. So we sold all of our stuff, quit our jobs, and sublet our apartment, loaded up 2 boxes, 2 suitcases, an espresso machine, and my dog, and moved to Mexico. We went to Central America for a year and were volunteering. And then while we were there, I was looking for, I want to stay longer. And that's how I kind of got sucked into maybe Pinterest as a side hustle. So I bought a course. It was a group program. I now see that in hindsight. I very much got into the funnel. I was a very hot lead. I was asking questions. Like I was all clicking. And then I didn't purchase because I was worried about spending $800. And so my husband was like, just if you're going to do the work, do the thing, buy it. We'll make do. And I was like, okay. So I bought it. And then within weeks had made back my investment and found that I thought like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And what I was feeling was entrepreneurship. I like Pinterest a ton. And yet I wanted the investigative. I was still feeling, I was creating pin designs and I was writing pin copy and I was scheduling, and the organizational part of me was satisfied. But the investigative, problem solving, innovative side of my brain was yet again, through a career pivot, unstimulated. And so I started having clients saying, well, okay, well, what's the ROI on Pinterest management? And they wanted me to defend why they were paying me. And I'm like, well, the stats, I'm bringing you traffic, right? And they basically were like, yeah, but I'm not making more money. And in the back of my mind, I was like, that's not on me. So what it ended up being is more traffic does not necessarily result in more money, right? I know you've said that on the show a million times, but my clients all needed to be told it one-on-one. So I started pivoting into funnels and why aren't you making money? What solutions do you have in set up? And they either had none or some, or it's just like a Dubsado form. And I'm like, this is not enough. So anyway, that investigative analyst research problem solving side finally started to come alive. And I was like, oh, funnels. Ooh, tech. ooh, automation. I like this. I like all of this. And that's when it just clicked. So that clicked in, I don't know, I pitched my first Pinterest client a funnel build in 2019 and then really fully pivoted in 2020 to funnels. And it's been 6 years or 5 years and I haven't looked back.
Well, and I love that you have that connection for the things that we have heard here over and over of why am I not making money? What's the ROI on this? And yeah, we've told our clients the same thing that like, we're going to bring them to your doorstep, but it's your job to open the door and invite them inside, have them have a seat, makes them a drink, like all of these things. And we found that that is such a barrier for people. In fact, that's why I've been kind of going through this series of talking with people who specialize in conversions, who get jacked about it because these are things that actually grow our business. These are things that take our marketing pieces and really level them up to the next level. But it feels like there is a barrier for people. So even when we go back to them, and I'm sure you heard this a ton of times when you're working with your clients, you would give them ideas and it would almost be like a blank stare. Like, I don't know the words that you just used. I don't know even how to wrap my brain around what a funnel is. I don't even know how to wrap my brain around that. So let's kind of start there. Let's talk about your first client. Obviously, you don't have to name names or anything, but that first person that you saw potential in. You saw, okay, you're getting traffic from Pinterest. I can take you to the next level.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about where your brain went that you started like beginning to calculate a plan for them.
So this person, they either had no idea what I was talking about when I said, like, how are you turning them into customers? Or they would say, I know, I need a funnel. ... And then they would be like, that would be the end of the story. And so I'd ask them, well, what did you have in mind? And they're like, well, a funnel, like I need a funnel. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So, okay. So let's start from the beginning. So with this client, I had probably 4 or 5 clients at this point, Pinterest management clients. I was busy. I was booked out. I liked it. And I had a really good synergy with this particular client. She also had a spirit of adventure and really wanting to grow this online side of her business so she could do less of the done for you work. But she wanted to know ROI. And I'm like, I sent my report, like the traffic, the clicks are, and she's just like, yeah, but I'm not making any more money. And so I was like, well, let's analyze, like, okay, are the tags correct? Like, well, what are you selling? And she's like, well, I have a WooCommerce store. And I was like, okay, what's in there? And she's like, well, like a tote bag. And I'm like, okay. Well, what else, can we do? And so we started talking about and then this is when I started really poking around. This woman looked at me dead in the face on Zoom, making $0 from her website, looked me dead in the face and said, I would like to get to 50K months.
Okay.
Right?
We all would. Yep.
I mean, who wouldn't, right?
Right.
But she looked me dead in the face and said, I would like to make 60K. I mean, 50K months. That's my goal. And I'm just like, baby girl.
Yeah.
You have what? And so immediately my brain starts dialing backwards. I just, even though this is 2019 and I was really just getting my toes dipped in funnels, I knew about them. I had learned, but like I had not taken any formal training. I had never built one. And so immediately my brain starts going backwards. Well, you need volume, you need high ticket, and you need both. You need an offer. You need this, you need that, you need this, you need that. So it's like, well, what's the end result? And this is something I walk through with clients all the time. They tell me, I need a funnel. Or I'll meet people at a conference. I'm like, oh, I know, I need a funnel. And I'm just like, for what? And then they get mad or they get freaked out. And I'm like, I don't mean that to be controversial. I just mean with what end? And they're like, passive income. And I'm like, like what? And ultimately, what we always come down to is you and I run businesses so that we can pay our mortgage or our rent, buy groceries, put gas in the car, maybe take a trip every now and then, so we can have an income, right? And they're like, yes. I'm like, okay. And you're a service provider. So, but it's not enough for you. You want something else. You're feeling the yin towards something else. So what is that like? And so I really kind of have to walk it back to fundamentals. So this woman was a service provider making a good living, but wanted the passive. She wanted to spend time with her kids. She wanted more impact on a wider level and she wanted to mentor and all these things. So I was like, okay. And you want 50K months. Okay. So we really had to work it backwards. From there, I thought, well, you're going to need an offer, specifically a high ticket offer, and you're going to need a big audience because it's hard to sell high ticket, period. If you want to sell a $3,000 thing, guess what? It's hard, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
How gifted and talented you are. Selling a $3,000 or $5,000 or $6,000 thing is hard. So
hard.
I had to walk it back there. And it always comes back to the offer at this point doesn't even matter. It's the audience. Do you have an audience? Well, I have this many. I have 1,500 Instagram followers. And I was like, okay, so do I. Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I mean, you could go viral for slipping and falling on your butt on a rainy day, and somebody you repost it with a funny sound, and you could have 1,000 followers or 10,000 followers from something silly, right? Like, okay. And so the first thing I did was, okay, I'm going to sit with that. And I hung up. I went and did another analysis of her website, and I tested every form on her website. They weren't all working. Some of them went nowhere. Some of them went to an email list, which she never emailed. Links broken. The WooCommerce store wasn't like going to do it. There was like I said, like a tote bag and like, I don't know what else. Anyway, also not going to do it. So I'm just like, I see you're not doing the work and you're not cultivating the audience. So it always goes back. It starts with that. So if you ever are thinking, I'm a service provider or I sell t-shirts, but I want to have a digital product or I want to have a funnel, start with a list building funnel. Even just a form on your website that says, name and email address and stay in touch. But please, for the love of lattes, don't say stay in touch. Say something compelling. So I'll give you an example from my website. I don't say get on my email list. I have freebies, right? But one of the biggest ways people get on my list is I have a line on my website that says, can I whisper my best marketing strategies to you on the regular? Cool. Hop on the list here and be the first to hear about new trainings, must-have tech, clever ways to leverage the tech you have, and marketing strategies I only share with my email list. Now I want to sign up. Stay in touch? Girl, I don't know you. I don't want to stay in touch.
Yes. Okay. So many things there.
So number one, do your forms work?
Yes.
And if
go
your forms
test
are working, are they compelling?
Yeah. Okay. So before we get to 2 and 3, because I'm pretty sure there's probably a 2 and 3, I want to address like 2 things that you said. Number one is that when you actually ask people what they want or what these terms mean, a lot of people don't understand it. A lot of people have no reference. And what is in their mind are short clips of either webinars they've watched or Instagram stories they've seen or ads that give you this message of, well, if you just do X, maybe it's have a website, you will make X dollars, which is way bigger than probably anybody will ever make besides like one person. And so you get these terms, you get these stories in your head that like, oh, I just need to do this. Can't you just flip a switch and I'll make $50,000 overnight? But it's like you're pointing out to them, you haven't even looked at a simple workflow of your tech. It's all broken. So how do you just expect people to magically appear and say, here's all my money when you don't even have a way for them to connect with you? And to your point, you have this really bland language of stay in touch. But I think you've identified problem number one, where people are at when they are struggling with conversions, is that they don't really know what that means. They don't have any understanding of why they're doing it. It's just everybody else's business story, if you will. Like, oh, I heard so-and-so made XYZ on her webinar launch, right?
Amy P's and the Jenna K's said X, Y, and Z. So
totally. Yes.
So that's
I'm going to do it.
I want a funnel that makes me $10,000 a month. Like, or I want this, I want that. And it's just like, and more often than anything, they want a funnel, they want a digital product, but they're not thinking about to what ends, right? To what ends, and specifically not just the money, but like what is it that you bring to the equation? Because anybody can walk up and say, I want to make $50,000 a month, but like, okay, well, what do you bring to it? Because there's 2 sides to everything on marketing. I'm saying, can I tell you my best strategies and my secrets and must-have tech? That's what's in it for you. But what's in it for me is you get on my email list. I said, plain as day on this form, must-have tech, read affiliate marketing. I said, upcoming new trainings, read paid workshops and digital products. Like, I'm telling you very transparently what's in it for me.
Yep.
And also what's in it for you. But I'm making, you know what I mean? Like, so I think there's this duality with marketing is people think about, well, I want passive income. Like, what is the mechanism? Do we just want to like, go on the dark web and steal credit cards? Or do you want to deliver a service or a value? What is it that you're passionate about? So anyway, there's so much to unpack. But yes, it starts with building an audience. And even if you don't know why you're building an audience, I built my email list with no clue what I was doing. The first funnel I ever built was mine. I'm going to always practice in my own business. And I had no idea really what I was doing. I just was like, I'm going to start an email list, but I'm going to do it strategically. Like, I don't do anything halvesies. So I'm going to go hard on this. I spent 3 weeks building a lead magnet that should have been like a paid. It could have been a low ticket paid offer. Like, for example, right? I'll tell you what it was, Kate, because it's Pinterest. I think you'll get it. So I'm this brand new newbie Pinterest manager. No one's heard of me. My lead magnet was, oh God, what was it? It was, this is pre-AI, everybody. So I actually had to do the work and think. It was a playbook that had 20 different niches that people advertise on Pinterest with board ideas for them. Because people like so it was a book, it was like an ebook, a Canva PDF that had like 100 different board ideas broken down by 20 different niches. So food blogger, wedding photographer, newborn photographer, blah, 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 blah. I don't even remember because this is so like 2018 or whatever, but that could have been like a $10 digital product, but I made it for free and I spent a lot of time and research on it. I did keyword research for 20 something different niches because I was of the mind that your lead magnet should be really, really valuable. So I grew my email list to like 1,000 really quickly because one, I had a really good lead magnet, and two, because I was pretty strategic about collaborations. I just started speaking that client. I'm jumping ahead, but can I tell you?
No, go for it.
Yeah. So I started thinking about like, I want 50K months. And my brain just did the math. She needs a high ticket offer and she needs audience and she needs a nurture mechanism. That means to me, email lists. That means a freebie on the front end of that email list. That means consistent newsletters that have value, but also are building interest in a higher ticket paid offer. And how do we get the volume? I don't want to do this with ads because this client did not like spending money. So what I envisioned is we're going to do a virtual summit. And the timing on this, honestly, it was chef's kiss, Kate. It was July 2020.
Oh, perfect. Right? Everybody was doing that.
Just the best.
Wouldn't work right now.
And actually, we were planning it before pandemic. And I think it was like May or June of 2020. So it was like near the beginning of pandemic, but we already had boots on the ground because I was like, I think you should do this. So essentially, I came back to her and said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to create a high ticket offer. We're going to qualify leads by, this mechanism, but you need volume first. So here's what you're going to do. We're going to turn this, like, she had this amazing blog post on her website that was like 2,000 like words. We're going to turn this into a lead magnet and we're going to really make it beautiful and high value. That'll be your lead magnet. You're going to start growing your list with that. And then you're going to host a summit and we're going to beg, borrow, and steal everyone else's audiences that are your peers. And we built her an email list of 12,000 with that summit. I made her $100,000 with that summit. And, things just started clicking. It all went from there. But I had to think about, how do I get this woman to 50K months? And So anyway, long story short.
Did it work?
Heck yeah, it worked.
Okay.
I made that.
I hope when she had her first 50K months, she was like, you're magic. And
I definitely made that person like $500,000. And then the other thing I was going to say, just on my own lead magnet journey, is I was building my own lead magnet funnel at that point. And I offered to speak at her summit about Pinterest. And she was like, that would be great. Boom. 1,500 people on my email list.
That is amazing. There's a lot with collaboration. And I'm actually glad you went to that point because I think there's so much we can do. I love that you use the phrase beg, borrow, and steal from other audiences. And we can partner and we can collaborate. And when you do that too, when you have good reciprocity, you will grow because you are both investing in each other's business. I find that when you are just thinking about yourself or the other person is just thinking about them, it grows, but not as well, right? Like you just have to have that component there. So I just want to make sure I say that when you are thinking of collaboration, like think of how you can serve them and think of how they can serve you, like work together. But the thing that I want to call out in this is that you're kind of working with this like warm audience, right? There's a connection. It's like if you and I were to meet at a party and I had a friend and I introduced you to this friend, there's a connection, right? And I often say that Pinterest is the cold audience. They don't know you. They don't care about you. They have no previous reference to you. So do you think when you are beginning to set up conversions, you have to view those audiences differently? Or not? Or do you just look at a conversion as a conversion?
Yeah, you do. You need to do the groundwork a little bit when people are coming to your website. So sort of bringing it back to my website, I positioned it as it's literally my name. It's damajue.com. So there's no brand name. Like I am she is me, right? So it's damajue.com. But you might have found me, from some spicy thing I said on Threads or some summit presentation. Like you don't even remember my name, but you remember the presentation or whatever you clicked through my website. So the whole approach of my website, the way that I wrote the copy is to bridge that gap between the people who've heard of me and the people who've never heard of me. If I'm going to optimize my website for anything, it's for the people who've never heard of me. Your website is a business card that, right? Like people will go and creep on it all the time. And that's great. That's what it's there for. So the website should really be from the lens of people who've never heard of you. So you asked me earlier about my about page. My about page is like not about me. I'm adamant about pages are not about you.
Yes.
You're not on my website. Like if you want to learn like everything you can learn about me, like maybe you would go to my Wikipedia page. That's about me. My about page is about you and how can I help you, or why are my offers or what I teach or what I say, my blog posts, my YouTube channel, whatever, why is it relevant to you? So the biggest text on my about page literally has nothing to do with me. It's the best funnel hack I can teach you is this: take the help. I talk about tech. I talk about funnels. I talk about their struggle point of like, well, I know I need a funnel, but what is it? I know that I need, like, I started to set up a funnel, but like, automations, tech, stress. So I really make the about pages not about me and like what my favorite latte is or where I was born. It's not about, the about page is not about you. It's about what can I help you with. So yeah, there's a little paragraph like my bio, but a lot of it is about what I can do for you. And so that being said, yeah, the whole website is designed for cold traffic. If you've never heard of me, the design is meant to be arresting and engaging and memorable. The copy is meant to be familiar, yet not overly familiar. So it's casual and approachable, but like, I'm not talking to you like you know me, right? I'm not assuming you know what I do. I'm assuming you maybe have heard of me or just because of something I said on Pinterest or on Threads or on Instagram or whatever, but it's about you. So I really believe that you should have your website optimized. Overly familiar can be IG stories, maybe. People tend to only see the stories of the people they follow. Really familiar could be for email, but website, you need to be optimizing for cold traffic. It's not about, they don't know you. Assume they don't know you.
Yeah. For some reason, this has always been a struggle for me with my marketing is to go to that place of they don't know me. And I don't think it's because I am like prideful or I think I'm awesome. It's just because I always assume that if somebody's finding me, they care about or they have come in contact with something that I've done. But I think as you're framing this up and as I spent some time on your website, I agree. That's exactly the feeling that I had. Like there weren't things I had to figure out. It didn't feel like you had assumptions besides the one that I loved, which was the take the help piece about tech, because you know that most everybody sees tech and they run for the hills and they're like, I'm out of here. Like that's probably the number one thing that stops people from building their funnels because it feels so overwhelming and they struggle with hiring, but there are people that can help them. It doesn't have to be $100,000 tech build, right? It can be way less. But I think I do struggle with that Instagram story perspective. And I'm wondering for someone like me, what would you say to me to like keep in my frame of reference at all times to like ground you back to that thing of when I'm going through my website, when I'm updating copy, think about XYZ. Is there anything that you tell your students or that you have in your brain to kind of keep that always grounding you?
Yeah. I mean, to be really blunt, I would just say we are small fish in a massive pond. I would assume they don't know you. Just assume they don't know you. A quick recap. And I use this actually as a selling strategy all the time, not just as a like value or an authority strategy, but I use this as a selling strategy all the time where it's like I use asides in my copy. For example, on my about page, I talked a little bit about like in the bio section, I talked about my journey, how I went from service provider to going to strictly like one-to-many digital products. I say I was sitting on a gold mine of an idea. Sneak peek at her here so people can click, like go ahead and click away to my other website because I have a whole nother brand that I run, Thrive Cart Template Shop. Go look at that. Go look at what I built. Go look at that. And so I use it as an aside in copy all the time. Like, so I might say this is completely random, but like if I'm talking in emails and I happen to mention the word Google Docs, I have this $9 training called On Brand Fillable Workbooks. The thing is like jet powered. It's sold thousands. I've never run ads to it. Don't need to. It makes sales every day. It just is a little engine that could because people love this training. And so anytime I mention the word Google Doc, I'll just say, by the way, have you seen this? Like, by the way, and I'll just, by the way, like I literally just did right now with you. I do it on podcasts all the time, naturally, because why use Nike or Adidas or some disconnected brand as a reference? I'll just use mine, right? I don't wear Nike or Adidas hoodies. I wear hoodies that have my logo on them. And I do the same thing as I'm on podcasts or I'm writing copy. Like, by the way, have you seen this? Like this crazy little or this viral little $9 thing? And I reference it all the time. I kind of, even people on my email list, I assume they've never seen that training, even though I won't shut up about it. People won't shut up about it. I've talked about it a billion times. I've linked to it literally 11 million times on Brand Fillable Workbooks, linked to it like so crazy amount. And yet I still treat every subscriber as they have a familiarity with me, but they don't know everything I do. And I also am one of those people who's like, I don't have a signature program that opens twice a year and this is like all I do. I have a million offers and I feel adrenaline and joy and satisfaction in putting out lots of new offers. So I can't assume that everybody knows what I do. So I'm constantly referencing and treating it as, by the way, or if I talk about my funnel, like, oh yeah, and so I threw it in my funnel software, parentheses, have you checked out Thrivecart? Or did you know I sell Thrivecart's templates? Like, because I don't know if they know me. And I'd rather say it in a non-salesy, but by the way kind of way that feels approachable and friendly. And yet if you click over there and you're like, well, I didn't even know Thrivecart could have beautiful long form optimized sales pages, smash the buy button, right? Like I'm going to stay yapping about my offers, but in a sort of subtle way. If ever, rule of thumb, assume they don't know you, but don't dumb it down by giving them a long backstory. How many times have I said my bio to my email list? Any subscriber has only ever gotten it once on their first email with me. And even so, if they I'm not a big believer in welcome sequences. Personally, I know wild funnel strategists, but I don't believe in them. But if somebody buys something from me, they might get a paragraph about what I do. And then they never have to read that bio again. So I don't dumb it down. I don't tell my whole, I was an accountant and quit my job. But if I'm talking about data, then I'll mention, as you know, or as you may not know. Usually I'll say, as you may not know, I used to be an accountant, or I spent a decade in a cubicle crunching numbers in corporate America as an accountant. So data analytics is my jam. And so add little snippets, but I don't hit them over the head with a big bio.
Yes. I mean, I have so many ideas going through my head, and I think I did so much assuming. You know what assuming does. So it's not necessarily worked out for me well, but I think what I'm hearing from this that even I need to take away is the sharing about your offers. I think the pushback to that is always people don't want to come across too salesy. They don't want to talk about it all the time. But if you think of it as serving them where they're at and with the needs that they have, it's not just talking about it all the time. It's sharing about a tool that's really helpful for them. And so I would say that's number one. And then number two, to start to begin to formulate a plan for tackling all of these things, that it's not just, okay, we're going to listen to this episode and now you have 20 things added to your list and you're going to do them all right away. It's like you have to see this as a year-long process and even iterate on it as you're growing your business, changing it, because we all pivot, we all change, we all have things we need to do differently. But I can tell you right now, there's a few things I would change almost immediately about what I'm doing to go back to the drawing board of connecting with them and entering into their story. And I don't think I share too much of my story, too much. I mean, there are times when I do, but I could probably even dial it back a little bit more. So it was really helpful.
Well, and I guess if I want to give, I don't think you need to take 20 things away from this podcast. If one thing sparks with you, awesome.
Yes.
If nothing has sparked with you to this point, may I invite you, impel you, encourage you, Simple Pin, podcast listeners, do this today. No one knows all the offers that you have. No one knows. I don't, even if I've been on your list for 6 months, I don't know because I don't read every email. Even if I watch every IG story, I don't know. I'm always amazed by what people have. So that's why I'm like, send me the sales emails. You're not going to sound too salesy if you're casually mentioning it. So I think of it, like you said, selling as a service. If you've been banging your head against the wall fighting with making this Canva beautiful thing you designed in Canva, PDF, fillable and clickable, girl, stop. Like, did you know that you could just do it in Google Docs? Can I just show you? It's only $9. Like, that is a service to me. I'm saving you the hassle of having to do that. If you spend 3 months fighting and wrestling with the Thrivecart template, like with a built-in, the free Thrivecart templates, and you just want something better that comes with a million bonuses that really understands what you need, here's my template shop. Grab one, right? And so I would hate to have somebody be on my list for a year and they have no idea that I had a Google Docs training, or they had no clue that I owned this whole other brand called Thrivecart Template Shop. So you don't have to do a dedicated sales email to sell. Just if you take one takeaway today, the next time you write an email and any of it is remotely adjacent to one of your offers. So you guys still sell pin templates, right?
Yep.
So if you were talking about conversions, you could say, by the way, did you know you can you can have conversion optimized Pinterest graphics, and then just link to your templates. Just link to them. You don't even have to say buy here. Don't do that. Just say, by the way, did you know that we blah, 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 or, sidebar, if you haven't seen them, they're over here. And I'm not even telling them to go click. I'm just saying, I'm just letting you know. I'm just going to set this on the desk next to you if you want it. There's a bar of chocolate. I'm not telling you to eat it, but it's there if you want it, because too often people don't know. And that's the thing with digital businesses. They can't walk into my storefront and browse around. I have to tell them what my offers are. And it's not salesy if all you're doing is reminding them of a thing you have. Because if they've already bought it, they're like, oh, snap, Kate does have that. And I swear I have them. Let me go. You know what? Let me go. Half the time I do this, people are just being reminded that they have this thing, or they never finished it, or they wanted to go do X, Y, and Z. And the other half, if they don't have it, then they're like, oh, you know what? I've been needing to pick that up. I'm going to grab it. It's not salesy. I promise you. Reminding people of what you have is not salesy. You go into a long sales sequence or sales email, maybe, but like if you're just mentioning it and babe, throw a link on that, you're not salesy at all. It's a service.
I love it.
Way. I emphatically recommend this one thing. You can start doing it with tomorrow's newsletter.
Great tip. I feel like there we go. Mic drop. We're at the end. Okay, Dama, where can people go to connect with you, see what you're doing? Because I know I want to investigate it and watch and see and model and get some ideas. So
I'm all about funnels and I'm all about tech. And that might seem like I just teach tech or I just teach funnels. It's hilarious that when you go on my website, you're not going to find a Funnels 101 course. I don't sell that. I don't do generic teaching or strategy. I do really laser focused. And my secret sauce is the magic between the tech and the marketing. So using the tech that you have, using it to the most, squeezing all that juice out of it to get the most marketing bang for your buck. So I'm kind of famous for having random little strategic hacks that actually can help you make more money. Like the Google Doc thing, like this subtle selling thing. I took this concept and turned it into a whole thing called 4x4 footers. It's basically, in the broad strokes, it's an email marketing training. I'm not teaching about forms. I don't teach about campaigns. I'm not teaching about sequences, automations. Literally, it's one specific thing. You're a strategic email footer. And this one thing, I just got off a call with a one-on-one client on yesterday, and she said that implementing that one strategy, that she grabbed templates and got the strategy for me, set it up in an afternoon, that it doubled her click rates, that her click rates used to be 0.2%, and now she's seeing 1.1% click rates.
Wow.
Humongous jump just by implementing this sort of lazy strategy that you can do with pretty much any email service provider. So I would say that's really my secret sauce. So you can head to damajue.com and get on the list there, fill out the form that says, get on, come hang with me. Let me teach you marketing things. I will never shy away from telling you about my offers, but I'm big on consent-based marketing. So if you're just like going through, there's a header or a bar at the top of my emails that says lifing too hard, tap here to pause emails from me for 30 days. That's an automation that I set up once because sometimes people don't want to unsubscribe. They just need a break. Like, for example, I'm going to be traveling to be a caretaker for a family member's surgery. Do I want to be keeping up with my inbox? No. Would I love to take a break from all of it for 30 days? Yeah, I'd love to. But as far as I know, I'm like the only person who offers this, like, take a breather.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm big on consent-based marketing, but yes, I will always lead with value and then give you a pitch at the end because I'm a sucker for a CTA.
I love all of that. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us today. We're going to have links down in the show notes, but I just really appreciate your wisdom and your enthusiasm. I think that is the thing that people want to feel more of right now, just because everything feels like we're being so stretched thin that nothing can feel fun anymore, that it all feels like a drag. But even, after you and I have been talking here, this feels like a fun project to work on. It doesn't feel labor intensive, but it feels like something I can tackle and enjoy. And then it will definitely make a big improvement in my business. So thank you for that gift to me. And hopefully other listeners have that too. So thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was fun.